Hello, everyone. I'm News 6 meteorologist Michelle Morgan. Thank you so much for clicking on our news app, News 6 app, and also clickorlando.com and YouTube. The latest information just came out from the National Hurricane Center. We now have the 11 o'clock advisory, and Idalia is still a Category 1 hurricane. It is now entering the southeastern Gulf with winds of 85 miles per hour, moving to the north at 14 miles per hour. Now, the pressure right now is at 976 millibars. The last update advisory from the National Hurricane Center at 8 a.m., it was packing winds of 80 miles per hour. The pressure was at 977 miles per hour, and it was still moving to the north at 14 miles per hour. So it has strengthened in the past couple of hours or so. So let's go ahead and take a look at the latest track. It is expected to continue to strengthen as we go through the next several hours as it moves through very warm water. The last time I checked the sea surface temperatures over the Gulf of Mexico, it was above 82 degrees. And again, that is the fuel for these storms to get going. Also, we're looking at little to no wind shear, a lack of, so that's your upper level winds to inhibit a storm from strengthening. So there's not a whole lot of wind shear there. So that's why we're pretty confident that the system will continue to strengthen as it moves into the eastern Gulf of Mexico. As of right now, it looks like landfall will be around the Big Bend region as a major Category 3 hurricane, packing winds of 129 miles per hour. Very strong system. But as you can see that we are not in the cone, and since the last update, it looks like that the forecast cone shifted very slightly to the west, but impacts will be felt well outside of this cone as we go through the rest of this afternoon, through the overnight hours and early tomorrow morning. So whatever you need to get done, you're still good to go right now. We're dealing with plenty of sunshine and things are nice and dry. But as we get closer to the 3-4 o'clock hour, I do expect those outer bands to begin to push into our area. Heavy rain, gusty wind, but again, the worst of it will be tomorrow morning around 6 o'clock in the morning, lasting through the noon hour and potentially through early Wednesday afternoon. So as the system continues to move to the northeast, you can see that it curves over portions of Georgia as a tropical storm, packing strong winds of 65 miles per hour. And the time frame we're looking at Wednesday night, and it'll continue to move to the northeast over the Carolinas and then moving into the Atlantic side. Storm surge definitely a concern over our East Coast areas as we go through today and tomorrow. And I do want to mention that there's a high rip current risk right now over our eastern coastal spots due to another hurricane. What we're looking at, it's not going to impact us, Hurricane Franklin, which is a major Category 4 hurricane, and that's what's churning up the water over the Atlantic Ocean. So let's go ahead and take a look at the satellite imagery. This is in infrared mode, really showing the cloud temperatures of this system. Anytime you see those bright reds, also the blacks, indicates the strong convection, those stronger thunderstorms wrapping around the center of this system. It looks symmetrical. It looks impressive looking at this image, and we are expecting it to continue to strengthen. Again, all the ingredients are there for this system to get going as we go through the next 12 hours or so. Let's go ahead and talk about local impacts so you know what to expect in your area. So we'll go ahead and start off with Marion County and also Sumter County. And I do want to mention that Sumter County right now is under a hurricane warning, and portions of western Marion County also under a hurricane warning. So winds, I do expect between 50 to 60 miles per hour sustained with stronger wind gusts. We could see hurricane force wind gusts in those areas. Rainfall rates as we get those tropical downpours over the area as we go through this afternoon into tonight and early tomorrow morning, between 3 to 6 inches. Locally higher amounts are certainly possible, and it could cause some flooding, street flooding in those areas, especially if you live in low-lying areas. Now there's also a threat for tornadoes today. Majority of the areas under a slight risk are coastal spots under a marginal risk, meaning when those outer bands begin to push in, we could see some spin-ups across the area. Let's go ahead and take a look at our central zones here. This includes Orange County, Lake County, Seminole counties, where we could see winds sustained between 40 to 50 miles per hour, rainfall between 2 to 4 inches. Of course, locally higher amounts are possible as well. And we're still looking at a threat for isolated tornadoes across our central zones. Now, our coastal counties, Brevard County, Volusia County, and also Flagler County, winds between 30 to 40 miles per hour, lesser amounts in terms of rainfall accumulation between 1 to 2 inches, and then isolated tornadoes are possible as well. But along our coastal spots, we'll have to worry about storm surge. Right now, the current forecast is calling for 2 to 3 feet, but of course, with Hurricane Franklin out there, and we'll be seeing a full moon. So anytime we see a full moon, the tides are generally high, so this forecast may change as we go through today. Nonetheless, if you live along those coastal spots, you need to be watching this forecast very carefully. So as we jump ahead to the timing, you're looking at the future radar simulation. So around 3-4 o'clock this afternoon. Also, I know there are a few schools that are in session. They usually end around 2-3 o'clock, so we're okay there. But as we get closer to a little bit after 3 into 4 o'clock, we'll begin to see those outer rain bands push in. Pockets of heavy rain, and again, we're looking at waves of this moisture. It's not going to rain all day this afternoon, but some spots will see that heavy rain from this system as it gets closer to the eastern Gulf. Now we're around 7 o'clock. We're looking at those outer bands now reaching our northern zones. We're looking at Volusia County, Flagler County seeing the heavy rain, and there will be a few dry slots as we head into tonight. Now, as we go through the overnight hours, this is when things begin to deteriorate very quickly as that eye is now in the eastern Gulf. Now we see all of that moisture moving into the area and that widespread rain fanning all the way to our coastal counties. Heavy rain around the 5 o'clock hour. This is early Wednesday morning, maybe while you're sleeping, and we'll continue to see this setup as we go through Wednesday morning, closer to noon. And right now we are anticipating that landfall will be around the Big Bend region around 11 o'clock or even noon. Again, this is on Wednesday. Still be dealing with tropical storm winds fanning out at least through our central areas. And then as we go through your Wednesday afternoon, we'll continue to see a stream of tropical moisture over our area around the 5-6 o'clock, pockets of heavy rain. So many of us, we're not finished with the rain yet, and also those gusty winds, and things will slowly begin to improve Wednesday night, and we may see some isolated showers early Thursday morning, but things should significantly improve across the area. Now, wind gusts, we're looking at tropical storm force wind gusts for a good chunk of our area as we go through early Wednesday morning through Wednesday around lunchtime, lasting through early Wednesday afternoon. And then as that system continues to pull to the northeast, things will begin to improve. Still, we'll be dealing with some gusty winds across the area, but I do think that the tropical storm force winds will come to an end Wednesday afternoon, and especially as we head into Wednesday night. Now, I do want to show you this. This is the wave heights, and you can see that Hurricane Idalia is churning up that water in the Gulf of Mexico. Right now, we're seeing wave heights, especially closer to that eye wall, about 15 feet. So it's already kicking up the water. I know areas along the Florida Straits and also Key West already beginning to see conditions deteriorate. And notice out to our east, we're tracking another hurricane, Hurricane Franklin, also kicking up the waves. We're looking at over 30 feet due to that storm. Again, it is a Category 4 hurricane, a major hurricane. And for today, along our eastern or east coastal spots, there's a high rip current risk today and also tomorrow, lasting into our Thursday. So don't go near the water, don't go in the water, because the rip current risk is very high and it is very dangerous. Now, another factor, another concern that we have here, storm surge. For majority of the area along the Gulf Coast, we'll see between 2 to 3 feet, and this also pertains to areas along our eastern counties along the coast. We can also see 2 to 3 feet. But the closer you live to the Big Bend area, we'll go ahead and zoom things in here, the storm surge will be much higher. Didn't zoom in there, but we're looking at between 6 to 9 feet in those areas. So storm surge is when the water is being churned up, it's pushing the water above ground, and that can cause some erosion, and it can also cause massive flooding, again, flooding along those big bend spots. So that is the latest forecast as of right now. I'll go ahead and leave you with your 7-day forecast right there. Again, temperatures will be in the lower 90s. We're looking at a 90% coverage for showers and thunderstorms again later on this afternoon. If you have any preparations or last minute preparations to take care of, you're good right now. Gas, make sure you have first aid kits, batteries, all of that stuff, because the forecast could change, and it could change rapidly as we go through the next few hours or so. So I'm News 6 meteorologist Michelle Morgan, and of course you can find the latest on Hurricane Idalia on our hurricane page. Have a good day.